Welcome back to BFB Pick Flicks, the bi-monthly series where we highlight the most underrated releases of the American movie calendar. From unlikely buddy comedies to a documentary about American football's statistical anomalies, the BFBs have got you covered with a penultimate bunch of 2025 cinematic gems. What are the lengths an individual will go to feel less alone? James Sweeney's sophomore film Twinless begs this question, taking the audience on a psychological roller coaster ride in the process. Sweeney stars as Dennis, a man who joins a support group for people who have lost their twin. Here he meets Rocky, played by Dylan O'Brien. The two form a codependent friendship, with Dennis's quirks falling into step with Rocky's own social ineptness. However, this story of peculiar human connection quickly flips to a hilarious cautionary tale. Each scene feels like a delicately placed puzzle piece as Dennis buries himself deeper into a hole. Although Sweeney's first film, Straight Up, was also a hilarious and modern take on relationships, Twinless hits the ball out of the park. Studios, please give James Sweeney your money now. Kontinental 25 is the more low-key film of the two that Radu Jude put out this year, the other being his provocative AI experiment Dracula. The film follows Orsola, a bailiff of Hungarian descent in the Romanian city of Cluj, whose eviction of a homeless man leads to his suicide. For the rest of the movie, Orsola embarks on a guilt-filled journey to receive some sort of absolution. The various friends, family members, and others in her community whom she talks to about the incident all try to assuage her guilt and tell her not to worry, that it was out of her hands. They point to the other ways in which she is a good person, and by extension assure themselves that their desensitization to the daily suffering around them is necessary to life going on. Business as usual. Jafar Panahi's ban from filmmaking was never one he followed. After a 2010 edict from the Iranian regime, the renowned filmmaker skirted around legalities by producing a great number of incendiary and coy films, indicting the regime and playing with the very form of the medium. In 2025, Panahi delivered It Was Just an Accident, his first feature made without direct fear of persecution, but made in the direct wake of a long imprisonment. After Panahi served a long stint for inquiring after a filmmaking peer, Mohammad Rasulov, he has channeled so much rage and pain into this quite straightforward thriller about the morality of stooping to your captor's methods to replicate the madness he inflicted upon you. Every moment in Panahi's film is patient and enthralling as he twists his cast of mostly non-actors into knots over an impossible decision. In a time when more and more nations are leaning to right-wing dictatorships, and as Iranians still live under an oppressive regime whose censorship is flaunted as a tool, Panahi's film is politically urgent, and because he is still a brilliant filmmaker, dramatically propulsive and dynamic, as he asks and asks his characters and audience, but ultimately confesses that he doesn't have any answers. He knows the regime will answer to history, but its victims still look over their shoulders today. Scorigami is a term coined by Jon Bois that refers to a final score that has never happened before in the history of the NFL. This latest documentary from Bois and co-writer Alex Rubinstein explores the timeline of unique scores as a conduit to chronicle the league's development and conceptualize its future. Unlike other projects where data graphics are just an accessory, here data is the story, with all the niche info being presented in increasingly creative ways. While recommended first for sports nerds, Bois and Rubinstein's writing is so consistently funny and insightful that it could hook even those with zero previous interest. I, like most humans with a heart and conscience, will go to substantial and significant lengths to ensure my dog is comfortable, content, and living its best life. Thus, naturally, going into Shudder's extremely well-marketed new piece of supernatural suspense, Good Boy, a movie about a lovable hound up against some not-so-lovable hauntings, I quickly realized that the white-knuckled sequencing would deliver through and through on both scares and an almost silent movie approach to its intriguing concept. It's very surreal to note, while watching this, that a dog legitimately gives one of the better performances this year. For more insightful reviews, check out our blog at www.bufffilmbuffs.com. I'm Lydia from the BFBs, and we'll see you at the movies.